Next, time for business. Yuka Roy joins us. Good evening to you. Starting with a controversial project, Britain has given the go-ahead to the development of what is known as Rosebank in the North Sea. We're talking fossil fuels, we're talking oil.
That's right. Well, it's welcome news for industry, but of course sparked anger among those who care about the environment. Located 130 kilometres northwest of Shetland, Rosebank is the largest untapped oil field in the UK and is estimated to contain up to 300 million barrels of crude. The government argues that it will help bolster Britain's energy security, but environmental groups disagree. Some protested outside the Energy Ministry this Wednesday following that decision, which comes as Prime Minister Rishi Sunak faces criticism for watering down his climate commitments ahead of next year's elections, including delaying a ban on combustion engine cars.
Well, firstly, even the Independent Climate Change Committee has acknowledged that we're going to need oil and gas when it comes to 2050, even when we reach net zero. So I think it's important that we protect production.
It's definitely not true that we need this oil field for energy security. No matter how much oil and gas we produce in the UK, again, as the government's acknowledged, it will not make a difference to the price that we pay for it. And the crisis that we've had in this country is one of energy affordability rather than energy security.
Accelerating a shift to green energy features high on France's spending plan for next year. The government unveiled a draft budget bill which aims to shield households from the impact of high inflation while trying to bring public finances into balance. But the plan also sees France's debt rise to a new record. The government wants to raise €285 billion through bond sales, up from this year's €270 billion. Oliver Farry has the details.
France's finance minister unveiled next year's budget on Wednesday, one rife with challenges, not least how to make French people's earnings go further in the face of inflation. Bruno Le Maire gave some relief to the public, announcing a rise in social welfare payments by 4.6% and an increase in pensions by 5.2%. There was also a strong emphasis on green investment, with the intention of transforming French society over the next decade.
We are calling for massive investments in the region of €10 billion extra for green transition. Yes, we will accelerate the renovation of buildings, on forests, water, on everything that will help us build an ethical model from an ecological point of view and, as has long been my ambition, make France Europe's leading decarbonised power by 2040.
But where will the money come from? Le Maire hopes that a tax on long-distance transport infrastructure in the form of shipping, aviation and motorways will raise €600 million per year. The government hopes to squeeze €16 billion in savings from this year's budget, €10 billion from an end to the cap on energy bills. But there are other considerations too. The government is likely to postpone by a few years a measure outlawing the rental of energy-deficient homes. And an independent fiscal watchdog says the budget's growth projection is optimistic and that the government is not ambitious enough in cutting public spending to bring it in line with EU guidelines.
Let's have a look at the markets now. Wall Street shares ended mixed after a seesaw session this Wednesday. Shares in Meta fell after the company rolled out new AI products at its annual developers conference, including smart glasses that can answer questions and connect directly to Facebook. Indonesia has banned selling goods on social media platforms to protect small business owners that run physical shops. Announcing the new regulation a day after it went into effect, the country's trade minister said e-commerce must be separated from social media. Social media platforms are still allowed to run ads, but no longer be able to host direct sales. The move comes after months of complaints from offline sellers seeing their livelihoods threatened by cheaper goods sold on online platforms. It deals a major blow to TikTok, as Indonesia is one of the world's biggest markets for TikTok Shop. Many shop owners welcome, though, the tightening of regulation.
To run this shop, we have to pay service charge, salaries of our employees, and transport expenses to get the goods here. TikTok sellers who operate from home, they don't pay these expenses. At the end of the day, we lose buyers because we sell at higher prices.
I used to have 5 kiosks here. Now there's only 2 left. TikTok has made us lose customers. It's so sad.
It's true that boundary is becoming less and less clear.
Indeed. Boundaries is the big problem, isn't it, I think? Yuka, thank you very much indeed. Yuka Royo there with all the business.